The light is bright. Well, anyway, I gotta get some of the lighting. I need that, that ring. I have this one, but it's so tiny, so tiny. I have shadows where I don't want them. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. I really need to get up and go get an ink pen. So excuse me, excuse moi. Ah. All right, I was gonna freelance, just freestyle, because this was something that I did not plan to do. It just came up. I was talking to, most of the times I tell y'all I was talking to my boyfriend or a friend of mine, and we kicked it, we ran it, and this is the information that I got. Well, here is another part of the conversation. So I was out watching TV and YouTube in particular. Most of the time, that's where I find myself surfing off to. I'm either watching boxing, old history, or trying to find more historiographers to find out some real in-depth stuff about the things that I'm searching for anyway. But anyway, one of the things that I ran across was this. There are these Instagram entities whom I'm not going to name. I don't think they really are for the black people like they say they are, because they cause a lot of they put a lot of triggering and divisive videos, mostly pertaining to the struggles that we have as black people in the realm of parenting. And this is what I want to say about that. All right, so this is why I need the pen, because I need to write things down, which is what I do beforehand sometimes, most of the time anyway. So one of the things that I see we shy away from a lot, due to, and a lot of black women are not going to understand or like this, but it is highly due to feminism, and women displaying a high level of masculinity within relationships. And so, being a woman talking about this kind of stuff, I'm not a Little House on the Prairie type of person, but I do believe that there are certain things and certain aspects of relationship, right? Mannerisms, and what do I want to call it? Not mannerisms, but relationship ethics that you have to understand as a woman going into these things, and as a man. And I talked about it briefly in another segment or another stream of, these Let's Talk sessions. And I may have mentioned something on the board, on the line of, the family structure and how it's targeted, how they, listen, when people say, who is they, listen, the powers that be, whoever you would like to create the they and put them there. But there are, certain people that make sure that certain things are damaged, demolished, done away with, customs and traditions are lost, history lost, and stuff like that. So those are the days that I'm referring to, but diminishing the structure of the black family. And somebody, people may ask, well, how is that done? And if you really take a good look at it, you'll see Not too many people really focus on it, but you do hear about it in conversations. People who really want to resolve or show the issue for what it is in totality and present it and say, hey, look at it this way and think about it like this, because this is the suffrage of our people. This is what happened. This is not victimization. This is the psychology behind the mindset of where we are right now, how we get here, and all that other good stuff. This is just a small portion of it, though. This isn't a stream that claims that this is the everything or the cure-all to everything that's happening. From where I'm sitting at, from me and the years that I've been alive on this earth and what I've witnessed on this earth, this is my conclusion. This is what I see. And from what I see, they've done a very good job about in the 60s, 1960, I want to say 69 or 64, but I read it, an article that a black, I think she was a journalist, had done in college or for a local paper, something like that. I can't remember. And statistically, she saw the declining of black marriages in the 60s, mid to late 60s, I'll say that. And I can see that happening. You have a people that's silently still running from oppression, even during those times, because you see, like in the 1940s, in a lot of the southern states, in a lot of the areas, period, where they were doing a lot of cropping, farming that, they had sharecroppers. And so you still kind of like had, a little remnant of slavery still hanging around, conditioning people's minds, programming them to think and understand logic the way they had to back in 1902. You know what I mean? We don't have to go that far back. But anyway, excuse me. So you break down a structure and you implement, and so government assistance. And so at first I had a hard time understanding that, because I was like, it wasn't created for us. We didn't have access to it, but it doesn't matter if we had access to it in the beginning, because nothing that we have access to now that's made to be a bad thing, like the housing projects, food stamps, Section 8, and all that kind of stuff there, none of that was looked down upon by the people, because it was created as as an aid. It wasn't looked down upon. It was basically a hand up, like here, a pick-me-upper. That's why we got information about those programs fairly years later, years and years later. So that was my thing. But none of that logically matters, because what it did, the effects, is still there, no matter if we got it when they first got it in 1902. I'm just throwing a date out there. Or if we started to see, access to those programs being granted to Black folks in I don't know. I don't know when it started. All right. So, and I did some research on that recently. I didn't retain the information, so I can't remember. But I looked it up because of the conversation that I was having with my person. But anyway, so once you get I watched the video too on YouTube that was recorded, I think in 1986 or 1988, briefly, but they interviewed Black women with children who were not married, and they asked them about that and stuff like that. I would encourage everyone to watch it. Before I end this, I'm going to try and edit the because I'm new to this, so I don't really know what all to put in my little, live stream descriptions and stuff like that. But I'm going to try and put some information in there about the video that my boyfriend and I were, because we always have these discussions. And while we do not agree in totality on everything, majority, of the things that we talk about, I do have an understanding clearly of what is being perceived from the other side and why. And then, I mean, when you chuck it all up, it's just the plain truth. It's ugly. It's nasty. We don't like it. We don't want to hear it as Black women. But this is what it all boils down to. This is what it boils down to. And so within that family structure, there were roles that were played, and within these roles, everything had a natural way of being present and effective. And what I mean by that is, in every living organism that has the mother and the father. I'm not talking about living things that make kids and leave them like the sea turtle. Their only goal is to procreate, leave a legacy, and multiply. So they mate, go on a beach, lay the eggs. Hey, y'all on your own. Love you. I hope you can hear me through this shell, but I'll see you around. Hopefully, I'll know who you are. You have a good day. You know what I mean? And boom, however long it takes, the egg hatches and they go. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about there are species of birds that we do know of, such as the penguin. And then I forgot, it's another bird. I can't really say the name of it. I can't remember it, which happens a lot. I can't remember it, but this is insignificant. But it's a bird, and the birds share the responsibility of parenting. And then you have some birds where the mother sits on the egg for the entire duration of the baking of the egg, right? And the dad goes out and gets food every so often. It comes back and watch the baby while the mother goes out and get food. And the mother comes back. There's still a shared responsibility. Then when you get to the lions and stuff like that, the elephants even, they have a system. They have roles that are played. Like everything that has order and structure and that is working has order. The gorillas in the jungle, they have order. They have a role. They have a system that's based off of roles. You have the alpha male. Everybody know who is the beta, the one that's trying to beat up the alpha male. Even the zoologists, the people who are studying it, they can see every time. It never fails. Hello? What is that? Is that? Nothing. What? And what? They hitting everybody before something. What you mean? You tired? I told you when your body ready, it's gonna sleep. It's gonna do whatever it has to do. Man, oh man, oh man. Man, a jockey. Oh yeah. You want to go get one? You want to? I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. Huh? It is. Yeah. It's not good. You don't have to if you got something to do. I thought maybe you wanted to because you suggested it, so that it was something you wouldn't mind doing. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. All right. So real quick, this is what I want to say. All right, because it's already been 15 minutes. This is what I have to say. Okay. There are roles in every part of life, and they're there because they have a natural, how do I say this? I don't want to say definition, but it's a natural design, um, a natural order. You understand? There's a reason why the woman wasn't the protector, and I'm listen, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that women should be respected less than men. I'm saying that an alpha male knows that he should always respect his woman, regardless of um, what he does, because they're a system, they're a team that depends on one another. All right. Um, it does come with a heightened sense of respect in regards to, because what's wrong? You got food coming? No. So it does have a heightened respect for the other. Excuse me, that was my dog. I'm not gonna say a heightened respect because listen, I believe that individually, in that individual relationship, a display of high respect, high regard for each um, person in that relationship should occur. It should happen. It should be something that anybody can see from any level, from standing in any angle of a room, a box, a triangle, a rectangle. It should be understood and seen, number one. But I've, as a, I don't know, this is where things get kind of twisted for me. Because I am a very strong person, but I also know when to express, and I'm learning also how to express those strengths when they need to be displayed. And so a lot of people might say, well, that's taken. And I wasn't always like this, ladies, but no guy wants to be with a man if he's straight. He doesn't want to have to deal with a masculine woman. And that's what we put ourselves in the midst of. Socially, everything is out of order. I don't want to talk to my husband or my fiance, significant other, like Karen talks to her Billy Bob. I don't want to talk to him like that because I respect him. In public, people should know that. Period. In public, people should see it. It's something that's going to be displayed. So I have to cut this video short, and I'll do a part 2 probably tomorrow because I do want to talk about social behaviors, and that's one of the things that fall under kind of roles. Before I leave though, I want to tap into a video that I saw on YouTube where this podcast guy invited, I think, 6 women to the show, and it was him and his co-host, and he was talking There was a part of the conversation. They don't show the whole video, right? But there was a part of the conversation where the young lady explained that she had her boyfriend allowed her to have other relationships with men and women. And so the guy went on to say, this young king went on to explain why she's not dealing with a real man and why why he doesn't know his self-worth as a man because of the things that he's accepting and allowing from his woman. And so because it did not fit, it was a very narcissistic approach, I do believe. And because she would rebut with another rebuttal to something. So it's like, I know that this is a black bobby pin, but we don't use black bobby pins only for hair. We use black bobby pins to stick, if we lose a button on our shirt. So how can you say that black bobby pin is, and it was just one of those types of back and forth things. When you don't listen like that, ladies, we don't really understand. Like you can't gain understanding from that. And that is something that even I had to learn. When you don't listen to understand, you don't gain understanding from it. Now, I'm not saying you're supposed to sit here, but just listen to this though. This if you are into men and you want to attract and appeal to a man, this is the logic of a man. And I not only heard this once, but I heard this before, which made me reminiscent of it, because I had to call my boyfriend up and tell him, hey, I remember we had this conversation. But listen, ladies, the guy basically put it as simple as it can be put. All right. The male's baseline is that when you see a male, he's a protector and he's a provider. All right. And then some women was like, well, no, he's supposed to love too. And listen, he is. But his baseline, when women are measuring, I don't know. See, and this is where the different variations of what a woman likes come in at. So I guess that's what she was saying. But I think that I am an alpha female. I just been sitting for a long time. That's all. Like real loser type energy. You know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed to say it. I let life get me down a little bit. It was not, listen, it wasn't any person or group of people or anything like that did anything. It was my own success and what I haven't achieved that got me into that funk of a spell. So anyway, he was saying that the baseline of a male is that he's a provider and a protector. And the baseline of a female is her sexuality for him or towards him and her submissiveness to him. When a man cheats, he lays with a woman and he does not give up his baseline. His baseline is still his baseline. He's not providing and protecting for this woman. He's providing and protecting for the woman that he has at home, right? But when a woman cheats, she gives up her baseline because she's being sexual with someone else and she's submitting to someone else, whether it's a male or a female. And she's taking all that in, and then she's also giving that to him. So he was explaining why the young lady couldn't respect, or he doesn't respect her. And it took all of the control that she thought she had in the relationship away from her at that moment. And I think that's when she began to get aggressive, because it made sense to hear it a second time. Because like I said, me and my boyfriend had that conversation. Now, he didn't use baseline, but that's basically the same thing that he was saying. When a male cheats, he doesn't give up what the female give up. And so some of us might say, well, that's sexist. And I hate to tell y'all this, it's as sexist as it may be, it still makes sense, because it makes sense to me, and I am a female. So I know that there are other females out there who look at it the same way. That, listen, if they're saying your value to me is based on this, and then you go and you give it to someone else, then you're no longer value to me. You're no longer of value to me. And it may seem unfair to us ladies, but it's the truth. And that's something that you can't run away from. It's the truth. It's not a societal thing. It's not a social behavior. It's not a norm it's the truth. It's why a lion kills another lion's cubs if they're not his, and tries to mate with the lioness again and have his own kids. He doesn't want to take care of anyone else's children in his pride. You know, it's so I understand, even though we're not talking about that, that probably was the wrong analogy to use. But what I mean is that no man wants something that not only someone has had, but that anybody has access to, because that is the thing that is supposed to be kept to me. Yes, I know I cheated on you. Yes, I know I hurt you. Yes, I know you feel some type of way, and it is wrong, and it does not give me the right to keep doing it, because my baseline is to protect and provide. It is also to care for me too. All right. It is also to love me too. I get that. But logically, because men think in logic, right? And emotion. I like to talk about that some other time, but for the most part, their logical reasoning, supersedes whatever their emotional reason was, or was trying to develop as a thought, in their heads. It doesn't work that way. So when you're trying to understand the opposite sex, that's one of the things you have to come to the understanding of. That's just that it's the way it is. It is the way that it is. Even women think like that. You know what I mean? What woman do you know that'll say if your dude cheat, okay, so you could cheat too. Okay. Don't talk about if she's working and providing and they're doing this 50-50 thing. You know what I mean? Um, you just don't know what to expect from a situation like that. You just don't. And so, like I said, I'm gonna leave, and when I come back, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna talk about, because this distraction from a dysfunctional family, structure, because it kind of like we dissolve the family structure. We don't have one anymore. Let me tell y'all, that is what I really wanted to come here and talk about, because I keep coming back on here and I keep talking about this, and maybe it's because of what maybe it's because of I lost my train of thought. But anyway, what I want to tell y'all is this. We have to do something. And if we never sit down and have a conversation and come to an agreement as a group of people, somebody asks, well, how can we change a whole group of people's mindsets? Well, because everything is influenced by what's heavily accepted, what's trendy. We see that right now. And so when we stop normalizing certain social behaviors, acting like it's okay, commenting and saying, well, this is that. If you don't believe that is wrong, please don't be fake about it. But we have to start understanding what's wrong, why it's wrong, and why it shouldn't be allowed. Like certain things we just shouldn't be living up to. And that's why I said, like, all it takes is for us to think, to simply just think as a group of people. These people are pushing literal words and thoughts and envisioning things, because we're all going through everything that a male or a female is saying they have gone through when they're not together with the baby daddy anymore, or the baby mom anymore. These are the struggles that they have. So it's easy for them to prey on these types of things. All I'm saying is we're smart enough, we're intelligent enough to think. Every time I see one of those things, I know what it's about. And it's amazing how I seem to be the only one that knows what it's about. I don't want to engage in the argument with the masses. I want us to see what this is and say, okay, this is that. And you know what? You got a valid point too. And then try to figure out how to move around to fix it. What we need to do as a group of people to help this thing out. And I think we need to start calling people out. Having men commit suicide because they can't see their kids is not cool. Having women struggle taking care of children by themselves, regardless of what is going on. Listen, there's no reason a man shouldn't take care of his children. There is no reason that a man should not be allowed to take care of his children either, in one that is more fitting for him. Why does it have to be easy for one and not the other? It should be easy for both people, because in the end, the child is the one that benefits. I see what this does to children, y'all. I have 3. And if I could change anything, I would change that. Those aspects of the relationship that I didn't have with their father. I would definitely do my part to bite down a little bit more and take a little bit less and just deal with everything I had to deal with on, without, there was nothing I could do though. But anyway, see y'all tomorrow around the same time, which is about 8 something. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.